Judge, I move item 10.
Second.
Judge,
Yes.
just for discussion, I'd like to say that I think it undermines the leadership of any department head if we come in and decide, if I decided, I don't think you paying some of your great staffers enough money, and so I put an item on the agenda and I say, I think you ought to give them a pay raise. First, number one, I just, in terms of good governance, everything at least that I studied when I was a student of public affairs, that just goes against every principle of it, unless there's some political reason why somebody wanted to do it. So that's number one. Number two, I think when we go through the budget process, if the department head wants to come in and make those recommendations, we ought to consider it in that light, but I don't think we come in and just do that. If there's some emergency and Dr. Shaw or Dr. White wanted to put this item on the agenda, I'd certainly consider it, but I just, from my vantage point, I don't think that makes sense now. I mean, I've seen it happen before where, you know, I think leading up to an election, that was about $17 million, $18 million item on the agenda. Might have come from a department, I'm not sure, Mr. Jackson, but I'm sure you were directed to it, to do it leading up to an election. And the sheriff was shrewd enough to get out in front of it.
Positions in last session. I went out there, inspected the premises, talked to Dr. White, talked to the actual doctors that were out there. We have 4 unfilled positions, but they need another one. They're filling them all right now with contract people because what we currently pay is under market. And if we want to actually have full-time employees who are the vets that are in these positions, now that we've approved the text to go with the vets, which we did last court session.
That's the one
It
you
is
voted
approved.
against, right?
I voted for 15 to come in and the other 10 after budget, but we went ahead and did all 25. So we've now got the positions to support the vets. And the vets were right now not being able to fulfill those positions because we have them all on contract because they can make more money, and it cost us more money to put them all on contract than it does for us to actually have them as full-time employees.
Can I ask you a question on this? So I heard that too back when I visited the animal shelter, that the position max for the vets are too low and they're having trouble recruiting. So I get that one, you know, is we're not getting any applicants because they're not paying enough. Now, why they didn't bring this
And when you talk to the
up?
vets, they'll tell you straight up, I can make more money by just being on contract than working for the
Well,
county.
the question is, why didn't they bring it to us? But I understand Dr. White's on vacation. What I don't understand is the other 2 proposals. The one to request a new veterinarian position. We have 4 veterinarian positions and they're all vacant. So why do we need another one? And then on the third item is to raise the current pay of all veterinarian positions to $120,000. But if we're already proposing that they be raised to 145,
The
position
145
max.
is the position max.
But there are no veterinarians right now, correct? They're vacant.
Because
That's what I'm-
what we pay is below the market for the contracts. So and if you have a position max, you don't have to pay them at the max. That's usually within each department's discretion whenever they have a max. The reason for the 5th vet, Judge, is so that they can have a rotation and they can be open on Sundays, which would be one of their most busiest days when people are off work and take people by our shelter. But with the current positions, which we were filling by contract labor instead of by employees, we're now in this odd position of where we're spending more money without the stability of having an ongoing employee. So my request, as you say, the 3 parts. Part 1 is, since we've approved the support staff for the vets, let's go ahead and approve to have the vets. Number 2, with regard to the extra vet, that way we can be open the extra day of the week and we can have a floating rotation so they can be open.
Judge.
And number 3, Judge, the 120 is what we understand that they are needing in order to be competitive to have these folks who can actually fill the empty positions. And what's the bases? Because I went out there.
Yeah.
Is there someone from the animal shelter? Or I think Albert is Public health, yes,
Yeah,
Commissioner
and
Ellis.
judges, they come in.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kale, I welcome you in my precinct anytime you'd like to go.
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask for my
That
visa
doesn't
when I
matter.
came down.
But the point I'm making is, if the department want to put this on the agenda, that's the way to do it. But if we're gonna go down this slope, next week, be prepared for a couple where I can go look around and, I mean, I'm just saying that the way we run the third largest county in the country is, because an item comes up on the agenda and one of us decides to vote against it, and then we decide, oh, I'm just gonna run out and go check out a department. Well, you know, if we wanna do that, I think I'll just run around I might go check out the county attorney's office, the budget office, the engineering office. You know, while I'm at it,
Aren't you already
I
doing
might
that?
run over to your office. You know what I mean? That's just not the way you govern. I mean, let the
But that's what
department.
you are doing.
or let the department put it on the agenda, if they think it makes sense. But if not, if we wanna go down that road, get ready, because what you do is create a situation where anybody in any department will go and say, I don't think we're making enough money, so I, an employee there, I think, Commissioner, will you put something on the agenda? Judge, you put something on the agenda, give us a pay raise?
Albert, do you guys need the pay rate, the position max to be raised in order to recruit? Is that?
Yes, Albert Ching with Harris County Public Health. I have Danielle, she's with the shelter, so I'll let her answer that question.
Yes, Judge, that's the problem right now, is that we're not competitive in salaries, and we can't hire and retain veterinarians. So, like the commissioners were talking about, we're using that money to hire contractants. It's costing us considerably a lot more.
Would it be possible to recruit for, raise the max, but recruit for those 4 positions before you go ask for another one? You know, I mean, if we haven't even filled them, why do we need to add one?
Well, I wasn't there with the conversation with Dr. White about doing that, but for what I know about the situation is that the problem I think that we're facing is that it's really going to be hard to recruit new veterinarians if we've raised the max, but then we have veterinarians that are at 105, so we bring in a new veterinarian who's just started, and we have some really committed veterinarians that have stayed with us through these very tough times, and then we bring in a new veterinarian at a salary that's considerably higher than what they're at right now.
Right. Okay, so is this something you guys can bring back, kind of explaining? So it sounds like the raising of the current veterinarian and then also the changing of the position max. I'm still
Yes.
not clear on why you need a 5th opening when you already have 4. But,
Well,
you know,
Yes, exactly.
and that
So-
should come through budget. I mean, it just.
Right, exactly, yes,
We're about to do budget hearings.
yes.
So I'd like to make a substitute motion that if this is something the department, refer it to the department and let them make a recommendation to us. And if not, I'd like to make it known, I'm gonna put an item on the agenda, because I think we're losing engineers. So let's do that next week.
Yeah.
You just can't govern that way. But my substitute motion, send it to the department.
What? What's your motion?
To send it to the department to let them make a recommendation
Well, I'm gonna
to
make
the
a
court.
substitute motion. Well, you make a motion?
He made a
No,
motion.
You got a motion and a second already on this.
Okay.
Okay, well, I voted down, then I make a substitute.
Okay,
Well,
so.
wait, just a second. Just a second. Can I talk?
Of course.
You got 25 new positions, right?
Yes.
You had already had 3 vacant, I believe, didn't you? Mm-hmm. So you basically need 28 people. That, of course, this court's approved 28
Yes.
people for you, right?
For the opening of the new shelter, yes.
Right. And of course, that was something y'all needed, or Shaw said you needed immediately, whatever. How many have you hired?
Well, let me see here, how many we have vacant right now. The veterinarians, we still have vacant, the 4 vacant.
No, I'm asking you, you have 25 new positions,
Yes,
you know, that you got.
right.
And all I'm asking is, so you already had some vacancies in the same positions, so I think you had so you need 28 people. Not counting vets, I'm talking about the stuff that was approved last time.
Right. Of the new positions we have not filled, I don't believe that we've even been given approval to start hiring those.
Okay,
But our
but-
other vacant positions that we had prior to that should be all filled.
Yeah, but have you hired those 3, have you been able to get those 3 vacancies filled?
Of the veterinarians, no.
No, not
But the other
veterinarian,
positions,
going back to the 28,
right,
the 3.
those positions are filled.
You filled the 3,
Yes,
so you're moving along.
yes.
And are those people going to assist the vets?
Yes, those are veterinary technicians and kennel staff.
Okay. So it would seem to me you have a problem with getting a new position for a new vet. Well, why don't we just go ahead and approve raising those 4 positions, the max? Go ahead and approve that today, so y'all can get busy and start hiring some vets. Because we need vets. Okay, we need vets. So why do we need, y'all wanted to do it the other way immediately for the 25. Let's go ahead. They desperately need some vets. We're paying more money for contract. And would you kind of agree, I don't know, this is kind of not a real fair question, but sometimes contract people aren't quite as dedicated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah, it's a huge problem.
Yes.
So why don't we go ahead and approve 4 vets for these people?
Judge,
Would you entertain something?
I just
I'll accept
suggest,
that as a friendly
if,
amendment.
if our budget sessions are next week, this is almost ridiculous.
What's
wait a minute,
ridiculous
this is
is
what we
what
did
you've
last
been
week.
acting about.
Let the department come over and make a recommendation, go through the process. I mean, what y'all, you
just
feeling
talk
some,
out of-
you
to
feeling
both
some
sides of
heat
your
over
mouth.
there?
This is
'Cause, did
hilarious.
somebody call you up and play that song, Who Let the Dogs Out?
But you started this last court.
No.
You went ahead and put
With
in
all
these
due
25
respect,
positions, they didn't even want
The
the
department-
25, so now we've approved them. Let's get the doctors that go with the vet techs that you approved.
the department head came in with a recommendation.
And the department
then-
head last week was happy with the 15.
It's amazing. We need vets. You can hire vets at that price, can't you? And so, what are we waiting on? We're paying more money to contracts vets who aren't as dedicated as your vets.
And pretty much have us over a barrel and can sometimes name their price. So
That's
yes,
right.
it
So
gets quite
this
expensive.
is real rocket science here.
Yeah, Commissioner.
Thank you, Judge. Look, I support anything to help our departments get better and have the right people in place. And I do agree that we want to have full-time employees than not. But, normally, a department head makes the rounds to say, this is what I need, this is hampering my operation. And I just didn't have that conversation with Dr. Shaw. So I just don't know the leadership's focus and direction on this. So I'll support this item as it is if Dr. Shaw indicates that this is the way we ought to go. But,
Is Dr. Shaw here?
He's not.
Dr.
Unfortunately,
White.
he's at a funeral. Dr. Shaw's at a funeral, and Dr. White's on vacation.
Yeah.
Right, so it seems like this didn't come from the department, and I do think that it's important, the precedent is problematic. I mean, if departments have a need, they need to come with it. If it's that urgent, is this something that could be put on Monday, Robert,
Yeah,
for the department to put it on?
And
So,
I,
Well,
you know,
I don't have a problem
and
with
Judge, I
it,
talked to
but there's a
Dr.
double
Shaw.
standard here, Judge.